Good evening. I'll call this meeting of the Cartersville City Council to order. If you'll please stand for our invocation and pledge.
Join me as we pray. Our dear gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for the opportunity to come and do the business of this wonderful city. We thank you for the opportunity to live here in this great nation. We thank you for our staff and the work that they've done, and our team of employees here at the city that continue to do a great job every day of the week. We appreciate them and are very grateful for them. And tonight, as we do this business of the city, we ask that you would go before us, that you would give us wisdom and knowledge, and give us understanding and hearing hearts. And it's in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So straight roll, please.
Carrie Pike, Ward 1. Jay Stepp, Ward 2. Carrie Rolfe, Ward 3.
Here.
Calvin Cooley, Ward 4.
Here.
Gary Fox, Ward 5.
Here.
Alyssa Cordell, Ward 6. Here.
Thank you, Julia. First order of business is the approval of our council meeting minutes from our last meeting, which was August 7th. And now would be an opportunity to make any corrections to those minutes, if any are needed. If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Council, I'd like to ask you to add 4 items to the agenda tonight. I'll need a motion for that.
Motion to add 4 items.
Second.
All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Items added unanimously. Mr. Porter, you got us a land bank board appointment, please.
Yes, Mayor, you reached out and Jeff Duncan has agreed to serve the land bank board and approved his term will expire on June 30, 2029.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And congratulations. Thank you to Jeff Duncan for his willingness to serve in our city on the land bank board. I know he'll be a great addition to that. Mr. Menino, we have 4 public hearings tonight. God bless you for that. And let's actually technically, 4 of them. So let's go ahead and get started with Z25-04.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. Z25-04 and 05 are both related. I'm going to give you a little bit of history on both of them. I won't repeat myself when it gets to the next phase of it, but this is from the estates at Ponders Mountain subdivision. A portion of it was developed. It was rezoned back in 2005. The first portion has approximately 74 lots in it, and the remaining portion was never developed. They were approved for a total of 315 lots with several enumerated conditions. Included in those conditions was the requirement for a rec area or amenity area, which would include clubhouse, tennis courts, and pool. With that, this first request is a request to eliminate that condition that required the development of the amenity area.
Okay.
Again, I'll get into the actual specifics of the second in the next phase of it.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for Randy at this time? Thanks.
Mayor, before you open the public hearing, if I could just make a few statements to the public. I know we have some people that were probably at the Planning Commission meeting as well. Unlike the Planning Commission meeting, we will actually be having 3 separate public hearings on this particular item. The first public hearing will only be on the issue of removing the amenities requirements that is with respect to the existing subdivision that is there. There'll be a public hearing on that. Everybody can speak on that. Then council will do their consideration, and then they will call for the second public hearing. The second public hearing will be on the actual amending of the zoning map with respect to this property to allow the new, changing it from 325 residential units to roughly 301 units. 199 in one section and 28 in another, I believe, and that combines with the 74. I think that's 301. My math is somewhat right, but and both sides will be able to speak on that. I will be, of course, timing you. If you do go over, I'll let the mayor know, and then he'll probably ask you to wrap up at that point. The applicant is given a 10-minute initial time period to speak. Each individual speaker is given 5 minutes. If hypothetically there's 10 people that speak against the project, then the applicant technically would have that additional time added to them for rebuttal if they wanted to use that. I'll let the mayor know that. Then once that is over with, we will then have a third public hearing, which will be on the 3 variances they are requesting to be part of their actual rezoning. You, of course, can speak in all of them, though if you don't have anything new to say, you can just say that my comments made in the previous one, I would like to be incorporated in this particular item that you're talking about.
Well, I'll preemptively say that anything that's said in any one of the 3 hearings will be moved into the other 2. So, that being said, thank you, Mr. Lovell, for those instructions. We'll open up a public hearing now for Z25-04 and ask the applicant if they so wish to step forward and make an opening statement or to speak on this.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. My name is Stephen Jones, the law firm of Taylor Duma, here today on behalf of the applicant and the owner of these properties, High Brass Properties. I've got a slideshow, if we could put that up. Yeah, these are 3 combined requests. This development, next slide please, was originally approved in 2005, constructed in 2007 with 74 homes. The original developer, which is a different entity, established an HOA, let that HOA go defunct. It was dissolved administratively by the Secretary of State, and then the property went into foreclosure. High Brass Properties acquired the property out of foreclosure, and there were the existing 74 homes there in phase 1. So with that HOA being dissolved, it is not a mandatory HOA. However, we have voluntarily created a voluntary HOA for those 74 existing homes. Next slide, please. This was the.
I've got a question. I'm sorry to interrupt. Why is it a voluntary HOA and not just a formal one?
Because the original HOA went defunct.
I understand that.
And so now it's not mandatory that the 74 homeowners contribute and be members of that HOA. So, and that's one of the reasons for that's the reason for your first request, is there's an amenity area along Center Road, which you'll see to the right of the screen. And that was contemplated to include a clubhouse, pool, and sports courts. Well, without a mandatory HOA and without mandatory dues, the issue then is the homeowners are unable to maintain that because there is no mechanism to collect the funds necessary for the upkeep. Pools are prohibitively expensive, and even in the residential development market, we're seeing homeowners kind of shy away from those because of the upkeep and the dues that are required annually to maintain those. This is a concept of what would be constructed under the original 2005 zoning conditions with all detached product. You can see the phase 1 product and this existing 74 homes highlighted in blue. Looking up north, that is Ponders Mountain, so it's an extremely high elevation. We would be required to cut and disturb all that area you see in brown to develop that. That's one issue that has prompted these applications, is as we've talked to some of these residents in phase 1, there's a tendency to not want to see that green space that they have come to know as Ponders Mountain and the elevation behind their homes disturbed with steep grade and homes and the disturbance that would be required in all the brown areas. It also, we've met with the homeowners. We had a community meeting with them, I believe, 2-3 Saturdays ago, and there was some also concern about the substantial traffic that would be flowing through their existing subdivision, including construction traffic. Next slide, please. This is the property. You can see again that amenity area more clearly on the right-hand screen as Ponders Drive hits Center Road. Next slide, please. Previously in 2023, we applied for a land disturbance permit to construct an additional phase that you'll see there superimposed on the remainder of the concept plan. That LDP has since lapsed, as I'll describe in a moment. We don't think that that's the best plan for this development. We don't think that's the best plan for the 74 residents that are out there. Next slide, please. So we've proposed this plan, which decreases the amount of single-family homes that would be added to the existing subdivision where there are 74 existing homes to 28. We will then cap that with a cul-de-sac and develop a new subdivision with attached product entering on Smiley Ingram through a new road that we will construct. Those two subdivisions will be connected by an emergency access, which is, it'll have a Knox box on it. Right? It's a product made out of Knoxville, Tennessee that can only be accessed by EMS and fire. So the added benefit is residents in either phase, should their entrance be cut off due to emergency services personnel will have access to either phase. I think that'll help with insurance ratings with both the existing phase and the proposed new phase. With this new proposal, we are also decreasing the number of homes by 14 units from the 315 that was originally proposed to 301. Next slide, please. So here you can see a better view of what the existing phase one would be with the additional 28. Again, this has the added benefit of preserving the existing 74 home community that the residents there have come to know. I believe later tonight you'll hear a public comment from some of the residents that we met with. They are in favor of this plan. When we sat down and one of the residents was gracious enough to open their home, the comment I got when we were leaving after a long meeting was, I didn't think I was going to like it, but now I do. And so I hope you'll hear their comments as to why they think this is beneficial. Next slide, please. This added plan will also allow us to preserve additional green space, almost 90 acres of green space undisturbed. If you'll remember the previous plan under the 2005 zoning conditions, we would have to disturb substantially more than that and leave only about 36 acres of undisturbed green space. In this plan, we're able to, again, preserve the mountain, preserve the elevation, preserve the natural area, and keep it undisturbed. Next slide, please. So the proposed, I want to talk about the benefits to this new plan and why we think it's a great option. Number one, it completes phase one. Number two, it maintains the existing appearance of Ponders Mountain and the subdivision that the phase one residents have known since 2007. It removes the potential for lots up on top of Ponders Mountain, again, preserving that view and green space that those residents have come to know. And plus, it adds that emergency access entrance between the two phases, improving fire ratings, improving emergency access, and potentially improving insurance ratings for all the homes because it's easier to access by emergency services. Next slide, please. So, not to reiterate, but that it also enables us to reduce the disturbed area, increase green space, and then to the recreational area, which is the point of this first application that you're hearing. Because the voluntary HOA does not have a mechanism to require contributions of funds that could then be used to maintain an amenity area, one of the topics that we discussed when we met with the residents that Saturday was what kind of amenity would you like that you can maintain and that these 74 homes can maintain through voluntary contributions. And so we're working with the residents now to come up with exactly what they want. Our engineers are drawing a couple concepts for them to consider, and we will construct that at our sole cost and expense so that they have something that, again, can be utilized by the community, but also maintained into perpetuity with voluntary contributions. You know, playground, dog park, walking trails, things of that nature that have a high establishment cost, but a low long-term maintenance cost. We'll also have two separate HOAs because we'll have a new community with the attached product. We'll be able to impose a declaration of covenants on that community with a mandatory HOA. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
That mandatory HOA is for the townhomes?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Next slide, please. I do have, and I'll pass out additional ones if I may, Mayor.
You can hand them to the clerk and we can pass them down.
In addition to removing just the amenity condition, we've also proffered additional conditions to be applied to the Phase 1, 28 lots that will develop. Again, these are additional proffered conditions by the applicant to ensure that what is developed is what is shown tonight. And that includes a maximum of 28 total lots, a minimum heated square footage, the preservation of the condition regarding maximum elevation of water service. We've actually already talked to the water department and gotten approval for water service to this development. And then finally, fourthly, tying this approval to the concept plan that is in your application packet so that the council and mayor, that you know that what will be developed is the concept plan that was shown tonight. And then finally, that the undisturbed green space, that approximately 90 acres, will be consistent with what was shown in the concept plan in your packet. Next slide, please. I've got a few
30 seconds left.
I've got a few renderings of the type of product that we would build in those additional lots in Phase 1, 28. The goal here is to keep it consistent with what is already developed in the existing Phase 1. So we've got some single-story product there, moving to a two-story product. Next slide. I think we have one more. So with that, Mayor, Council, appreciate the time, the opportunity to present this application to you. If you have any questions of me now, I'd be happy to answer those. Otherwise, I'd be happy to address any comments that may come up further during.
I do. How long has your
comment.
client owned this piece of property?
I believe we closed in 17.
Okay. So you bought the property, they bought the property in 17. They've had it, here we are in 2025. You've had it for 8 years with the condition on it, and chose not to do anything about the condition that's on it. Explain that to me, please.
Yes, sir, Mayor. We obviously were aware of the condition when we acquired it, and we've looked at the ability to build out the rest of the subdivision as zoned. But again, with the mixture of a voluntary HOA and potentially a mandatory HOA, that creates some conflicts. It also disturbs the existing Phase 1 residents in terms of construction traffic, additional traffic through their subdivision. So we just didn't feel that that was the most appropriate path forward. We did, Mayor, to your point, submit a land disturbance permit to develop that Phase 1, but as we got into it and looked at it, we didn't feel it was the best land plan. We didn't feel it was the best way to be a considerate neighbor of the existing 74 homes. It just isn't the best land plan, frankly. And that's why we've come to you tonight with this new land plan that we believe best serves the property, but also best serves the existing residents in Phase 1.
Okay. Anyone else?
I have a question. The 90 acres that you're leaving undisturbed, is that going to be left undisturbed in perpetuity?
Yes,
Will it be
Councilman.
part of this project, whatever approval there may or may not be?
Yes, Councilman. That's part of the proffered conditions which the clerk distributed to you, was tying it to the concept plan that you see tonight. With the Phase 2 rezoning, which is your next public hearing, I'm going to hand you out conditions which are pretty much the same with some uniqueness for that one, but also tie it to the concept plan so that that concept plan is what's developed, preserving that acreage in perpetuity.
I think we talked earlier, are the covenants still in place?
The covenants are still of record and they are still legally enforceable through that. However, the people who can enforce those are whoever owns those 78 houses that are currently there, because those are the only properties out of however many acres is there that is covered by those covenants. And at least since those covenants were recorded back in, I think it was 08, it might have been 09, nobody from there has taken any action to enforce those covenants since the homeowners association went defunct.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
excuse me, So there's a distinction in the covenants. You have HOA provisions, and then you have land use restrictions. So, could say no backyard chickens or no detached garages or whatever, you might see in covenants. Those are the restrictions I think city attorney's referring to that the homeowners can enforce. But if you don't have an HOA that is the one that was designated in the Declaration of Covenants, then there is no legal entity that can require the contribution and collect the contribution and act on behalf of the association that's named in the declaration. So then the alternative is you'd have to go back and get 100% of the 74 homes to consent to changing it, which I've been down that road before. Unanimous consent is almost impossible to amend covenants.
I don't know, I think there's across the street, we encourage them to have amenities, because of the number. We didn't force a pool, and because they reduced their number of lots by quite a bit, and we worked with this on some things, but I still think that there's, I don't know, my desire when we look at quality of life issues, and
Absolutely.
I'm not trying to drive, undue cost onto homeowners, but I think there is a quality of life issue, or, because I'm not sure. I'll go back and look at how long people have owned the homes in there. If there's a, long tenure of home ownership, you might have a case, but, if it's been turned over, and then, there might be, when it comes down to amenities, I'm just talking about the amenities, but, if there's long-term home ownership that have been there, who have accepted those terms of no amenities, it'd be interesting to hear which homeowners said, no, we bought this in lieu of that they were going to build these amenities, and then they never came through. Maybe we should be more focused on enforcing that. But
Absolutely.
It'd be interesting to know.
Absolutely, Councilman. I think there are some residents that can speak to that. I believe the first home subject to checking tax and real estate records was 07, 08-ish, because this was lost in the downturn. With that's why High Brass wants to build something on that amenity area in phase 1 that they can maintain voluntarily. So, and that's why we're proposing things for them to select from, like walking trails, picnic area, gazebo, playground, just things that have a low long-term maintenance cost. But in phase 2, we are going to have a larger amenity area and larger amenity package. And that's certainly something we're willing to discuss and what the council feels is appropriate for the amenity package in that area. What we'll offer to the residents in phase 1 is the ability to voluntarily join that phase 2 HOA. So if somebody wants an expanded amenity package, then they'll have the ability to opt in to the phase 2 amenity area and use that. So we're trying to marry both.
I know the neighborhood next to yours. I drove out there the other day, to kind of get good eyes on, what we're talking about. I know that one neighborhood next to it has an amenities package, and you can't tell what it is.
Yeah.
It's pretty poor. And I feel for them, because I think they probably expected something else, but, that is what it is, but, thank you.
And that's our hope, that the folks that want a larger amenity can have it by accessing phase 2, and those that, like you said, have accepted it will still get something, even though they weren't expecting it, but something that can be voluntarily maintained. So,
Any other questions for Mr. Jones at this point? Thank you.
Mayor, I don't have any questions. Staff did make me aware of 2 issues, and I just wanted to bring those to his attention. You don't need to address them now. I think they will be addressed at later points. But staff did wanted me to just mention that you are required to upgrade your entrance, the left turn, once you build any more lots in phase 1. That was apparently part of the understanding for the approval that was done way back in 07 or whenever that was. And the second thing they wanted me just to mention is that at some point in the process, they would want you to indicate who would be maintaining the detention ponds that you referenced during your presentation. whether that's the voluntary one or your new HOA that you're creating or some other entity.
May I
Yeah,
see
you
it?
can, you may answer both now.
In reverse order, the mandatory HOA, I think we would require to maintain the stormwater ponds, otherwise there wouldn't be a mechanism to fund the maintenance of that. With respect to entrance improvements and other zoning conditions from the 05 zoning, we have not proposed to modify those in this condition, so understood.
One other question for you. The amenity package for the 199 townhomes that you're putting in is what?
That's up for discussion for the council. We are open to.
Do you have one, is it included in your original plan?
In the 2007 plan?
I'm talking about the 199 additional townhomes you're wanting to have as part of this development that has a mandatory HOA. Is there an amenity package that goes with that portion of the development?
Yes, Mayor. There is an amenity area. If we can go back to the plan, we haven't designated what those amenities are because we wanted to leave it to council's purview as to what they felt appropriate to require and impose on phase 2. We're open to anything, in the whole suite of potential amenity packages. But again, we've seen, like Councilman Roth pointed out, that there's been some willingness by council to dictate what those amenity package might look like.
I would contend, and maybe I feel different than Councilman Roth. I don't think I'd heard him say exactly that, but I don't know that this council's job to tell you what we want to see out there. It's your job to bring us something for us to consider. So, again, at some point, we're a fiduciary responsibility, we're a judicial responsibility of deciding whether this is good or not. So for us to have input into what goes on there, I don't think that's our role, and I don't even think that's appropriate.
Understood, Mayor, and I'd be happy to propose it. If we can draw something up, we just felt we wanted to leave that open for discussion. We are open to the whole suite of amenity packages there, but before your next public hearing, I'll get a rendering prepared of what we think would be appropriate or what the market might bear or desire for amenity packages in the present market. And then we can go from there.
All right.
Where is it located on this site plan?
The amenity package is right here located on the main drive.
All right. Anything else? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
We'll continue on with the public hearing for Z25-04. Anybody wishing to step forward to speak for or against may do so at this time. Absolutely. And you got to come up here. As for anybody that comes up, hopefully you signed in at the door. If you didn't, please make sure you do so on the way out. And when you come up here, if you'll please state your name and your address, and that's so that our clerk can put you in the minutes of the meeting, okay?
My name's Kirk Ledford. I live at 60 Rock Fence 2 Number Road. Rock Fence 2 Road. I was going to ask you, before I speak, can I pull up a couple of them maps and walk over there and show you?
Absolutely.
Point at what
Yes, Ava will be happy to help you pull up whatever map you want. You can go on over there.
I've never done no public speaking, but I believe I can make more sense than Joe Biden. Okay. But what this feller here is proposing, keeps saying this is the best use of this land, blah, blah, blah. Well, I've done grading and construction work all my life.
Oh, I'm going to stop it there just for a minute, Mr. Ledford, because if you remember, Mr. Lovell was telling us, are your comments going to be related to the amenities that are in here?
Oh, no, I'm talking about the rezoning.
So you'll want to come up in the second public hearing that we're going to have a hearing specific to that. That's okay. This first public hearing is specific only to the waiver of the required amenities.
I'll have a little something to say about that, but I'll come back and speak.
Yes, sir. All right.
During the rezoning.
Okay, we'll have that one next. So if you have anything, do you have any comments relative to the amenities portion? All right, let's do that.
I don't live in that development. I live on Rock Fence Road number 2, but Mr. Coverhouse was on the zoning board or recommendation. Okay. I could care less about them amenities, but he kept on eating at this guy. I tended to agree with him. He said that that's supposed to be done, period. And the way he sees it, the guy was trying to get at it. I don't care if they put one swimming pool or no, or none, or 10, but I'll agree with Mr. Coverhouse that he's trying to get out of it. I'll say that part, but I'll have a lot more to say when the rezoning
Okay.
comes up. But I'm sorry I come at the
Nope, you're
wrong
totally
time,
fine.
but
We're glad you're here. Thank
you
you.
say that'll be the next meeting?
No. It's gonna be right when we're done with this portion of it.
Oh,
We're gonna
okay.
have, we're gonna open it up again.
Oh, okay, well, I'll come
Okay.
back.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak on the amenities portion of this request may step forward and do so at this time.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeff Temples. I live at 16 Everest Drive in the subdivision. Been there for approximately 9 years. Love it. When I was showed this subdivision, the house was not coming up out of the ground yet, but I wanted to buy in this subdivision because there was no pool, there were no amenities that I would consider a potential liability, because I understood that the HOA had been dissolved. There were covenants in place, I understood that. But the pool, to me, it's a handful. You folks that live in subdivisions with amenities like this, you understand that, especially if you serve on an HOA. I did in the previous subdivision that I lived in. I was the treasurer. And so, it's a lot to manage. It's a lot to cost-wise to keep it maintained. And it was a huge plus for me when selecting this location. And so I certainly speak in concurrence with Highbrass's current 2025 proposal to reduce to a great degree those amenities. And I was part of one of the individuals giving suggestions as far as what I would like to see that would be low maintenance, that certainly could be maintained by a voluntary HOA. The problem with a voluntary HOA that we have currently witnessed, and it may change with additional amenities, right? So it's like you add more things, more people get involved, use them, they may support them. But currently, just cutting the grass in the front, it was very, very difficult to get sufficient volunteers, which we organized an unofficial HOA in that subdivision to maintain the front entrance, because we're proud of it. So there were a lot of us that paid more than what others would, because the vast majority of the homes in there did not participate. So what they are proposing, I am for. I like the idea that it's a low maintenance, something that can be maintained by everyone. Hopefully we'll be able to get more participation in the future. But in just speaking to the amenities, that's what I wanted to say to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Continuing on with Z25-04, relative to the amenities portion of the request. Anybody else? Come on up. Yes, sir.
My name's David Head, and it's 13 Everest Drive. I've lived in Ponders Mountain for about 3 years. When we bought the house, we knew that there was a voluntary HOA. We had no knowledge of any kind of covenants until the planning meeting the other day. So
Are you one of the grass cutters, or are you one of the ones laying out?
I'm one of the people that contribute $30 to have somebody else cut it. I had a triple bypass in January, so I don't cut grass much.
I don't blame you.
If I don't have to. The idea about the pool, I suppose there are some people that would like that, but as Jeff said, with a voluntary HOA, the cost to maintain it and insure it would probably be prohibitive. You're looking at the total number of homes being reduced. If you take out that 74 and you build fewer homes, the cost of maintaining a pool is going to be shared by a lot fewer people. And if they want to build a pool, they can do it in that phase 2. In the new subdivision, they don't have to build it in phase 1, so that makes sense. And I understand your comment about quality of life, and I don't mean to sound like a snot, but if I wanted a pool for quality of life, I would have bought into an HOA that had a pool. I bought into an HOA, it's a place that didn't have an HOA and didn't have a pool. That was a conscious choice. So Yeah, it would be a nice to have, but I think when you look at the cost of having one, it would not have that same attractiveness, particularly to the 74. As Jeff mentioned, we've got about 30 people that kick in money to maintain the front and to mow the grass, and we have a common off-street parking area that has to be maintained. So most of the people right there now don't contribute. So that is difficult. But, and I do think, you know, in talking to High Brass, the amenities in the new section, they were saying that if some people in the voluntary area would like to join that, they could, and they could pay, you know, a percentage on a year-by-year basis. That would be cool. But I think for the existing homeowners, everybody I've talked to since I've lived there are fine with not having a pool. So,
Thank you,
Can I
sir.
ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
yes, sir.
Do you have a sense of how many of those homes are owner occupied, or if there's a lot of rentals out there?
You know, my wife and I were talking about that the other day. We walk our dog around the neighborhood. I would say there's probably, out of 74 homes, I would say there's probably 8 to 10 that are rental properties. And I say that just because of the way the houses are maintained, and sometimes they don't cut the grass or whatever. But, and that was another phase question. But yeah, I think about 10 of them are rentals.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anyone else wishing to speak on Z25-04 may step forward at this time.
I've already spoken. May I address the councilman's question?
Come on up.
Thank you.
So to your question, sir, I have a little bit of knowledge about this. I do know that in talking to a realtor several months back, and this is probably a little dated, probably 6 to 12 months back from a period before then, that of the homes that were purchased in our current subdivision, 10 out of 11 were purchased by real estate investment trust funds, and they are renting those homes. So there's been some activity, you know, with them coming in, offering cash. It's a great deal, you know. I ain't gonna lie, I would be tempted as well. But there's a lot of rental homes in there currently.
Thank you, sir. Once again, anybody wishing to speak on Z25-04, the portion about amenities may do so at this time. Seeing none, I'll close.
Mayor, he's entitled to.
Oh,
rebuttal
that's
first.
right. I'm sorry, Mr. Jones. Would you like to kind of follow up on any of those comments?
No, Mayor. I just want to echo the residents' comments about their desires for the amenities. They're the Lorax, so to speak, on the folks that were at the community meeting, and that was a sentiment that we heard echoed by the approximately 20 folks that were there in attendance. So we appreciate their support, and we would ask, when it comes time, the next public hearing, that the council vote consistent with what the existing homeowners have stated is what they would support. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Lovell, for keeping me on track with that. Now we'll move on to Z25-05. Mr. Menino.
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. I'm not going to rehash the entire history. I think Mr. Jones did a good job. This is a proposal to rezone approximately 120 acres of the estates at Ponders Mountain subdivision that was previously zoned R10 for 315 single-family lots. They are going to RA12 with approximately 28 single-family detached residents that'll be on the extension of Ponders off of Center Road, and an additional 199 townhomes off of coming in off of Smiley Ingram Road.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
What's the note that I have on here that says R10 conservation?
Yeah, you're.
What is that? What is that?
Under our ordinance, R10 conservation, you can do modifications to lot size, still with a R10 density if you provide so much open space. And again, that's what they did with their original phase when they started developing it. As you can see, they had the large area of open space. Again, elevation-wise, they weren't going to be able to develop it anyway. They were above the elevation that would allow it to be served by water.
So they could bring the lot sizes down.
Yeah, they can adjust lot sizes accordingly.
That explains.
How long has it been the case that they hadn't been able, that they wouldn't have been able to develop at that elevation?
Since 2005, I believe the original condition.
You're saying at 2005, there was a development that they were told they couldn't create what it is was created in there. My point is,
you're going to have to rephrase that question.
The previous map that showed all this stuff and we're saving all this green space, you're telling me there was a map that shows houses that they're not going to build because they can't be built anyway.
Yeah, there are certain homes in there that could not be built in the area that's green space from their original plan. They were above
There were
it.
certain homes that
If you can go
could
back to
not
the
be
original
built
subdivision.
unless they lowered the elevation or received approval from the city for a pump station, which the city normally does not allow. But yeah.
Just like on the other side of
I
75.
understand.
Right. You know, it's just, you know, it's just depending how much somebody wanted to spend to bring it down to the elevation that we can pump water to.
Okay.
Yes. The open space and green space in there, some of that area is above a certain elevation, so until the water department was able to provide water at that elevation with a higher water tank, they would not have been able to develop that anyway.
Thank you. Z25-05, Mr. Jane, excuse me, it's Jones, isn't it? I'm so sorry, got to put my glasses on, I can't read my own writing. I apologize. I don't know if I did that before, but if I did, I'm sorry.
It's perfectly fine.
Thank you.
I could tell you some stories. Being named Stephen Jones, there's a whole lot of us
Yeah.
running around in the state.
Go Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a couple Stephen Joneses practicing law,
Oh,
which
okay.
causes some interesting confusion with mail.
Gotcha.
One's got an address that's 2 digits off of mine, so we get mixed up quite frequently. Mayor, to your point, I'll incorporate by reference all my prior comments. I will address some things that I think will come up with this application. To your point about the elevation, Mayor, we've been in discussions with the Water Department. When these properties were originally zoned in '05, the max elevation was 1050 without prior approval of the Water Department. We've been in discussion with the Water Department, or the engineers, I'm no engineer, I don't know anything about that, but the engineers tell me that the Water Department is okay with an elevation of 1072, which would be sufficient to develop everything you see in this concept plan. The amount of grading that would be required to get the lots that are approved as of now would require, again, substantial grading of that Ponders Mountain. I don't know how far it'd have to be brought down because, again, I'm not an engineer.
It wouldn't make any economic sense to do so.
It probably wouldn't. But we have looked at that phase 2 pushing out. If we can go back to that concept plan, ma'am. My PowerPoint presentation. So that phase 2, I believe that could be served under the zoning condition, and then the engineers would have to figure out more about pushing north. I think that you might hear some comments tonight, and there may be some concerns about entrance from Smiley Ingram, the gentleman who spoke and will speak about Rock Fence Road 2. The original plan, if we could go back, ma'am, a few slides. The original plan also contemplated an entrance on Smiley Ingram. So, you know, in terms of access, that is an access that was proposed and considered in the original plan and the current concept. In this phase, if we could keep coming forward till we get to a slide that just shows that pod. There you go. Thank you so much. In this pod, we're proposing, again, 199 attached townhomes. These would be front entry. In your application packet, you have, in our letter of intent, we're proposing no on-street parking. We've seen that as an issue in other developments requiring all off-street. Another unique feature that did come up in the Planning Commission is we would require all residents to park internal to the garage, leaving their driveway for guest parking only. So it's a select product of resident. This is a not a move-up product, you know, when you got a house full of kids, right, that are at driving age. You will hear about some variances to accompany this, but I do want to talk about the amenity package. Mayor, to your point earlier, we will get a concept there. We're not opposed to putting a pool in this phase. We think that some of the residents in phase 1 may actually want to voluntarily join in to access that. So, you know, again, we'll come back with something that proposes something specific there, and apologies if I misread. With these townhomes, if we could come forward, I've got a couple elevations of what those look like. This is the front entry, so you got a 2-story product, mixture of materials, brick, hardy, with the carriage style garages. Let's come forward one slide. And then here's an isolated rendering, and I think we might have one more. There you go. 2 more, okay. There you go, thank you. And so this is the front entry product. And I won't discuss the variances now, but the idea is to have for each unit 4 dedicated spaces for each home, 2 in the garage for the residents, 2 in the driveway for visitors, and then we'll have additional overflow, guest parking, and off-street parking. The reason for that is we've just, in developing other communities, we've seen that be an issue, right? You got a big truck, it backs out into the road, and people are parking on the street, and you're doing the zigzag. And I think I've talked with some of the existing phase 1 residents. They've experienced that too. So one of the things we want to do here is put a stop to that. So the rental issue, we proffered, and staff has a recommended condition as well for a 10% rental cap. So these would be owner occupied. With that, if I may, I'll hand to the clerk. We have proffered conditions with respect to this application as well. While those are getting passed out, I'll address them. Got a maximum lot count, a minimum home area, preserving the original condition, Mayor, that you referenced with regard to the water elevation, nothing above 1050 without the water department's approval. The original condition was, I believe, 1100. Now your ordinance says 1050, and we've already been in discussions, as I referenced, and I've got that email if you'd like to see it, regarding service above that. We'll develop the next condition, develop the central amenity generally as shown on the concept plan, and is to further be shown, Mayor, to your request, on the concept plan of the specific amenity we'll show. Number 5, that will have substantially the same green space as shown on the undisturbed area on the concept plan. And then the conditions, which are the conditions which staff has in your recommendation, which are the variances. Number 1, to reduce the rear yard setback so we can accommodate the driveway parking, so from 10 to 20 feet. To omit the alleyway, you have an alleyway requirement in the zoning district, to permit on-street or to permit front entry parking with driveway. That obviates the need for an alleyway. And then related to that, omit the requirement for parking in the rear. And then finally, to the rental comment that we've heard some about tonight, the Homeowners Association to cap the rental rate at 10%. We've already got a draft declaration of covenants to that effect as well. With that, again, I'll incorporate all my comments. Mayor, Council, should you have any questions about this application, I'd be happy to address those at this time.
So, in your plan, how many bedrooms are these units?
So we have, they're going to be 3 and 4. You're going to have a mixture in the ability to flex a bonus room with a 3-bathroom.
So you're talking about, I didn't see that in here. So you're talking about 3 and 4 bedroom townhomes? Okay. And then to the parking, are you proposing private roads?
No, these would be public roads, which is one of the reasons for off-street parking as well.
So how you gonna curb the on-street parking?
Whatever the, you mean the off-street parking?
No, the on-street parking.
We will not permit on-street parking. We'll have dedicated off-street parking.
Are those private roads?
Are they private?
No, sir.
So on public roads, you won't be able to restrict it.
We will have it in the HOA Declaration of Covenants.
In an HOA, they as a community can say that if people park on street in our community, you pay a fine for doing so.
And then
In
we'll
a
have,
nutshell.
we'll have dedicated parking spots as well.
So I think, because, I don't know, I mean, I get to sit park on the road, because I drove up there on Ponders Mountain this week. There was a dually and a car parked right beside each other, and I pulled my Tundra in between them, like, with inches.
You're just showing off. now.
Creeping.
Right, yeah, so, there's a dually and a car. So the on-street parking, and as we've seen in other developments, has become an issue, especially we've heard a lot of that up on Center Road about how narrow the streets are, and then when you start doing these setbacks. And so, because I think when you think about 3 and 4 bedrooms, okay, think about 3 and 4 bedrooms, okay, I have a 3-bedroom home. I think we have a 4th bedroom if you want to count it downstairs, okay, so, but my wife has a car, I have a car, my high school senior has a car, my college daughter has a car. We have 4 cars there, okay? And at any one time, we could have 4 cars. Now, this home, you think about the garage. I don't see a lot of people parked in the garage. I think we park 1 car in our 2-car garage because it's barely that big. But then we have a lot of other stuff in there, So I think to say that, well, we're gonna, might be a little bit, pardon me.
Bless you.
Might be a little bit of a pipe dream to say, we're gonna force in garage parking. The parking issue, I know that's one of those deals we're dealing with, but a lot of these subdivisions are dealing with. And I think that, the more you can have, the better. I bet I can tell you that you want to be a community partner, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that always astounds me, because this happened on the other side of the interstate, is that, hey, we want to be a community partner, but we're going to go to 199 units. And why did you not go to 200? You know why? Because then you'd have to have a second entrance. So we're going to go to 199, and I'm going to kind of like beat you up a little bit, but we're going to go to 199 because we don't have to have a second entrance, but we're going to go right there, not to 200. I don't know. That does not always set well with me, just because, we're pressing all the way. We're going to go all the way that we can without requiring a second entrance. And I think, just that did not set well with me. I'll just leave it at that.
Understood, Councilman. One of the reasons for that is, to your exact point, we wanted to leave the separation and not have a vehicular access through Phase 1.
I know. And then, so with the variances and other things, we start shaving off the corners of a square peg to force it into a round hole. And we continually see that from community partners who want to come and build a great product, but we continue to shave off the corners of a square peg so we can get it shoved in this round hole. And sometimes it just doesn't fit. And I think there's some work to be done.
So, Ava, would you please mind going back to the plat drawing for the proposed development? Because when you talk about, again, trying to preserve, or whatever you're talking about, it seems to me like there would have been an option there. You don't have a cul-de-sac now where that one is proposed right there, but it seems to me it could have very easily gone back to where all those 199 townhomes are and built a road with a cul-de-sac or some variation of the same product houses. You still could have had the road to go out Smiley Ingram, and you could have done everything that you've talked about wanting to accomplish, except having single-family homes instead of, again, 199 townhomes right there. Is there any consideration to that?
Yes, Mayor. If we could go back a couple of slides, we actually looked at, or the engineers looked at, it's a black and white superimposed on the plan. There you go. The engineers, Falcon Design, looked at just to what you're referencing, Mayor, and the concern with that, again, is all the flow that we would have through Phase 1, and then combining a mandatory and a voluntary HOA, it's logistically difficult. So well, we definitely contemplated that. It's just the land planners didn't feel that, and the HOA management just didn't feel that it was something that would be a viable option in terms of.
It wouldn't have been a viable option just to have the whole thing come off Smiley Ingram Road, build those, not even tap into the phase that's on Center Road, and then you'd have just an entirely private HOA that would have been a totally standalone subdivision?
But then if we got above, because the zoning is for 315.
Well, I'm saying doing exactly what you've got here, except not connecting with the existing subdivision. You've got your entrance off Smiley Ingram Road, and you've got, again, a separate, you wouldn't be tying into the existing one and not have to worry about the voluntary versus the mandatory.
That would certainly be an option, Mayor, but but then we are also pressed up against the requirement that the max units under the original zoning of 315, and to Councilman Roth's point, at some point we'd have to have a second entrance, which would then necessitate tying into Ponders Road in Phase 1. So that could be an option in the short run, but then as we approached that unit maximum of 315, then we would need a second entrance and then have to tie in to Phase 1.
Okay.
I think this is, I wish I knew the number version of this concept plan, but they've been at it for a long time trying to figure out what would logistically work.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Jones? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank
I'll
you,
open
Council.
up the public hearing for Z25-05 and ask anybody wishing to step forward to speak. This is the zoning part, so Mr. Ledford, since you were a willing volunteer the first time, we're going to call on you first. How about that?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I say y'all have to excuse me for looking raggedy. I worked long days and
Nothing
I
wrong with
hadn't
working.
been off work long. Well, I wanna walk up to this board here. Okay, that's the original plat when it was all rezoned for single family home. I heard him talking about.
No, sir,
Similar.
that's,
Anyhow, he said he talked about the economics. Well, apparently whoever the original developer, there's gonna be some amount of profit in all this, or he wouldn't have proposed it. Okay. Can you go to the proposed, second proposal, please? Yeah, right there. Well, I live right here, on 60, Mama lives right here, my husband Carrie, she lives down here. Reason I'm gonna get into all this, you'll understand it then. Mama's been there since 1980, and I grew up in this neighborhood. I know every square inch of this ground. This original, ever how many houses in here, they done the mass grading all the way to about this point, which was probably, I don't know if anybody remembers, when you go down 75, it's all growed up now. They was probably 100 to 125 foot vertical cut plus a slope, which was a huge, massive, expensive amount of grading. And most of this down here is flat. Probably some of this will have to be built up in elevation. The developer now says this is the best interest for the property. In my opinion, it's the best interest for his pocketbook, because most of this mass grading has already been done. And I'm personally better off with the townhome, but I'm gonna speak for everybody else. Because they're gonna be a huge amount of grading up through here and around here for the original flat, which they probably gonna be profit in that. There might be some developers in here. Might not like what I'm saying, but they're gonna be, their biggest interest, they're gonna be a huge amount of profit of getting nearly the same amount of units. They're not gonna have to do this massive grading, cutting all these streets, paving, curbing, utilities, the list goes on. The reason I brought all that up, if they can afford to buy this piece of property and sit on it since 2017, well, this shows green space. Well, that's just a fancy word for all undisturbed land is good, but that's just a wasteland. That's just a massive rock pile. Well, if they can afford to do all that, That shows green space. What is this brown space? What's that gonna consist of? Is that disturbed or undisturbed?
Sir, we'll let the applicant answer that question for you during their rebuttal.
Okay.
Okay.
What I'm saying, the reason I brought all this up, this ain't in the best interest for the property. It's the best interest. Mass grading that's already been done, that's probably $1 million they're not gonna have to spend on grading. They come up through here and it's gonna be going to spend a lot more money, which is probably feasible, like I said, because of the original plan. The reason I brought all that up, and they can sit on this piece of property since 2017. I think they could afford to, not from the road edge, if they're gonna see they're gonna go the original plan or the new plan. I think they can afford to put not from the road edge, from the right of way, a 50-foot natural buffer all the way down through here, undisturbed. Even if we have to move this road over a little bit, oh, that's gonna get up, oh, that's just gonna be terrible. It's gonna cost a little more. And even I see it everywhere, even the natural buffer and a private fence down through there. I'm just saying, what can we get out of this? Because they trying to make all the money they can and make us think this is the best interest for the property. This here gonna be the best interest for their profits. So they gonna make all that profit, whether it be the original one or the new phase. Why can't we leave a 50-foot bucket on all of this, all the way down through here, and all the way down through here, and private events, I see it all over the county, probably the city too. And the people around it get something. I think people ought to be able to do what they want to with the property. I didn't come up with all this on it, so since the government did, I want to see what us and our neighbors can get out of it. I'm suggesting a 50-foot buffer.
So, Mr. Ledford,
Undisturbed.
thank you for that. And Mr. Lovell just let me know that your time limit is up, but I will tell you that that's one thing that council can consider should they wish to put a condition on the property to require a 50-foot buffer, or even the fencing piece. Okay?
Or both.
Or both. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments. Continuing on with Z25-05. Anybody wishing to speak for or against may do so at this time.
When I look at this new plan, where that cul-de-sac is currently, that's where the dump trucks turn around, the trash trucks turn around. There's no houses right there, but there is a turnaround spot. It's kind of hard packed road. I think this plan would reduce construction traffic. It'll reduce traffic down Ponders Road, which is the main drag of our subdivision. It allows a second entrance, if you will, because of the EMS, that Knox box that he's talking about. You could have police, fire, EMS still access Ponders Mountain from either Center or from Smiley Ingram. And this summer, we had a power line go down that blocked the entrance. And I'm a little sensitive to it, but if they had to get an ambulance into me, that would have been a mess. And having that additional entrance is a peace of mind kind of thing for me. And this Knox box that he's talking about, it allows that flow of emergency traffic, but it cuts down on vehicular traffic, construction traffic on Ponders Road, which is I'm concerned about because that's where the school bus stops, is right there at the entrance of Ponders. And it also will reduce, I think, some traffic on Center Road by having people going out Smiley Ingram instead of Center Road, which would be nice. It preserves a lot of the green spaces he was just talking about. They're financially motivated not to have to grade it. That's great. I don't care as long as it stays green. It's going to cut down on the noise that we're going to have to deal with. I think we'll cut down on the time of construction too. And then, like I said, I think those are the pluses. I really don't see a downside to rezoning it. I don't see any negatives to it. I understand your comment about having the 4 cars in the off-street parking, you could always sell it to your kids, hey, if you parked out in the lot, think how healthy you'll be by hiking up to the house. But yeah, that could be a problem, but again, the homeowners will have to deal with that if they buy into it and they know that there's no street parking when they move in. I think that's not going to be hidden from them. So I think that's something they can decide with before they buy the property or not. So anyway, any questions?
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Continuing on, Z25-05. Anybody wishing to step forward, speak for or against, may do so at this time.
Once again. So I agree pretty much 100% with everything that the previous speaker, David, talked about. I would say that about the parking, sir. I am sensitive to that as well. I have driven through subdivisions and just seen massive street parking where it was difficult to get through. I even, before planning to purchase a home, I will go drive during various times to see what the parking is like, and I have actually not chosen to buy because of that. I think the parking restrictions here, although seem to be pretty restrictive, would actually, I think, add value, especially if I were in the market for that particular type of product. So I certainly like the green space as well. The more we can stay to the left, but I certainly understand, sir, what you're referring to as far as having a buffer there, because that is a lot of traffic coming through that new area. So just wanted to speak in concurrence with. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak on Z25-05 may do so at this time. And seeing none, I will close the first portion of the public hearing for Z25.
The rebuttal.
Doggone it, Keith.
I know, one day you'll remember.
I apologize. I'm still kind of new at this.
I'll be brief, Mr. Mayor. I'll just address what came up from Mr. Ledford. We can certainly look at what we can do on a buffer for rock fence. That brown area is the area that has to be disturbed to develop. To his point, you'll see there's a dark dotted line and a light dotted line. The light dotted line, the first one,
Please, yeah.
this line is where we'll have to grade into what will be replanted green space. Of course, this will be green too, but dedicated green space here. We will have to grade here for the entrance to the road. But one thing that we can look at, and that we'll have a distinct answer for the next public hearing, is what sort of enhancements we can do here to Mr. Ledford's request on the buffer. So whether that's replanted or something like that. But from that plan, which is what the engineers have delivered to me, I believe they need to grade up the property line. But for the neighbors, what we can do is look at what we can go back with after grading to provide a buffer.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Council.
Thank
Do
you.
you know how many feet it is from their property line to the road? Any chance you could figure that from there?
It's not close enough. If you would give me 1 second, I can pull up my schematic and tell you. Okay. You see the bend in the northern road?
Mm-hmm.
That is 50 feet. So the closest line here
Yeah.
to here is 50.
Okay.
So what we could do is afterwards is go back with a plan. The only thing I have to confirm with the engineers is whether or not that has to be disturbed to put the road in. If it does, we can definitely go back with the planning. If it has to be disturbed, we can leave it natural.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Mayor, council, thank you.
So that closes the first portion of the public hearing on Z2505, correct?
Correct.
So now, the third public hearing relative to this application relates to the 3 variances, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
And just note that y'all are taking no action on the first part of this application.
So noted. So now I'm opening up another public hearing
Yes.
to talk about the 3 variances, which are,
Which are, as I understand, though, I'll let Randy.
well, Randy, you come up here and introduce those for us, please. Thank you, Keith.
Thank you again, Mayor
Thank
and
you, Randy.
Council. The 3 variances, townhomes require rear access and a rear access alley and rear access parking. It's to eliminate the rear and provide access via the front. And that's the second part of the variance, to have front access. And the third part is there's a 20-foot rear yard setback requirement. They would like to swap their rear yard setback requirement. They'd like to swap the requirement and put that 20 feet in the front to have additional space for parking of vehicles in the driveway when necessary, so they're not sticking out on the road, and put the 10-foot to the rear, 20 in the front.
So if I'm looking at what the applicant gave us earlier, we're talking about items 6, 7, and 8, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for Randy at this time? Thank you. And then the applicant gets the opportunity to give their statements.
Yes.
Come on back up.
Long time no see. Mayor, council, again, Stephen Jones, thank you for the opportunity to present this application. Again, on High Brass Properties, the applicant, and I'll incorporate by reference all the comments that I've made on all the applications in direct and rebuttal. These variances are what is required for this front entry product. There are portions of the code which contemplate rear entry townhomes. For that requires 2 variances, 1 stating that there must be alleyways behind the homes, 2 which states that there must be only parking in the rear. Related to that is, again, as Randy said, the swapping of the setbacks so that you have 20 foot in the front as opposed to 20 foot in the rear, which allows you to have that front driveway where you have space for 2 cars in the driveway. Councilman Roth, to the comment that you made earlier, and to the comment that I believe Mr. Head made, is that this is a product that the homeowner knows what they're buying into, and that does add some value, that they know there will be a clean streetscape. So if you get to a point in life when you've got multiple drivers in the home, I'm getting close, I've got a 9-year-old, so that day's coming soon, quicker than I like. It's just that is a product that you know you're buying into at that time. And when it comes time for that next phase of life, when you've got multiple drivers and a higher insurance premium, that's when you choose a different product. So it also, it creates a distinct community. Those are the 3 variances, and that's the justification for them, is to really make this is to hew to the concept that's proposed and in your application packet. With that, Mayor, Council, if you have any questions with respect to these variances or the plans in general, I'd be happy to address those at this time.
Questions at this time?
Mr. Jones, can you please ensure that I obtain a copy of both of those printouts? You didn't provide enough, so I'll make sure that the council members have one, but you can just make sure.
I'll give them to you right now.
Julia, I've got mine for you.
Perfect,
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I think that, with the parking, the setback, I think it's, with the variances, I do think that, looking at the plan, I would encourage you to look at more, parking, besides the 2 little spots you've got or 3 little places you've got. So, because I think, then what the difference is you're going to trade, I guess, you're going to allow the townhomes to fence in their little backyard.
That's correct.
So you're going to have a 10-foot backyard?
Yes. You'll have it dedicated, and then you'll have the green space behind it. The lot size,
So you have a dedicated 10-foot.
you have a 10-foot rear setback, but then you're going to have probably a porch in the back on some, and so it's about 20 feet.
Okay. So you're just giving that up from front to back. think the products that I've seen that have front, are front loaded, I think probably the best townhomes that I've seen that are rear loaded are like Lenox Park, beautifully done. And I would love to see that reproduced, but I know that's not gonna happen here, but with this front loaded, I just have seen so many parking issues. And go to the Everett Estates and some of those other ones that are right in there, and I think we've seen other townhome developments that have had the same parking issues. I think that really needs to be something you may want to readjust.
We'll certainly look at it, and I think there's ample room to add additional off-street parking.
Any other questions from council on the 3 variances? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
I'll open up the public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak on the variance requests relative to Z25-05 may step forward and speak on those now. And seeing none, I will close the variance issue on the Z25-05 public hearing. Now, we will do this again, and our next meeting is
September 4th.
Thank you, September 4th. And so we will have these same hearings a second time, and then council will turn them over for consideration. So thank you. Mr. Menino, if you will carry us on to SU 25-01.
And before we continue, anyone who is here, feel free to leave at this time, just if you do so in a quiet manner. Though we'd love for you to stay if you want to.
If you spoke and did not have a chance to sign that sign-in sheet, please do so that make sure that our clerk has to keep accurate records. So that's going to help her out an awful lot. So thank you. Technically, you weren't allowed to speak unless you signed up, so I'm being nice.
Okay, thank you again, Mayor.
Thank you, Randy.
SU 25-01, 1009 North Tennessee Street. The applicant is requesting a special use to allow a used car lot for this particular site. By right, the property is owned office commercial. A used car facility is not allowed. With a special use, it allows council to look at each site on an individual case-by-case basis. With that, it did go to the Planning Commission. The applicant did state that he was willing to allow a maximum of 10 vehicles for the proposed use. Additionally, I spoke to a concerned neighbor. He actually spoke highly of the applicant, but was concerned if the applicant was no longer running this type of facility, they would have some worries with somebody else coming in and try to run a used car lot on this particular property. With that, the Planning Commission did recommend approval of the application 5-0.
Okay. Thank you. Questions for Randy at this time on this item? Thank you, sir. I'll open up public. Is the applicant here and wanting to speak? Sir, come on up. We'll let you go first. This is a public hearing for SU 25-01.
My name is Shane Ray. I live at 84 Moore Road, Kingston, Georgia. Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you for seeing me. The property I have there is, I run a roofing business, construction business out of the back. I think it was there was one there originally. The address is, there's 2 different addresses there. We have a front office and we have a back office, 2 different power bills. And I've been there a little over 10 years and we've just never used it. I was gonna rent it out and just never did. I've been messing with old cars my whole life. That's just what I know, other than construction. And I enjoy buying and selling a car every now and then. I don't want to put no big car lot there. I don't want to have flags flying everywhere. I haven't even got my dealer's license yet because if I can't do this, why would I do that? I just want to do it the right way. Some nice pieces out front, no junks. Just run a nice little business out front for me and my son. I'm getting a little older now, a little longer in the tooth. I want to start downsizing my construction side of it, and just start my retirement side of it. Me and my sons always want to do it, and that's what this is all about. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Ray?
Would it be?
When you say nice cars,
Well, I mean, I don't want no $800 car sitting out front on blocks and trying to sell it, or, you know, but I'm not gonna put no $80,000 car out there neither. You know, I'm not gonna go get floor plans, I'm not gonna, you know, go under the big dealership stuff that they use.
Okay.
Would you be agreeable that the special use would only apply to you while you own the property, and if you ever sold it, it would not carry forward?
I would be okay with that. My intent was never to build a car lot up and sell it. I mean, I have no desire to do that.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Sure. We'll continue on with SU 25-01. Ask anybody wishing to speak for or against to do so at this time.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
My name is Steve Beck. My mother is Betty Beck. She resides at 1007 North Tennessee Street. She's next door to 1009 North Tennessee Street. So, speaking for my mother and myself, we oppose the special use permit because it's already a high traffic area, and a car sales lot will only add to the congestion. We feel some people will have no choice but to turn around in my mother's driveway or her front yard. People have already backed into her front yard in the past as a way to get back onto Tennessee Street from all around roofing. Again, we respectfully request that the special use permit be denied. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Could you point out on there exactly where your mother's home is?
My mother lives on the south side of all around roofing, so she's over here.
Well, on the plat.
On the flat, I'm sorry.
Be careful with those walls.
Yeah, I'm over. This all around roofing?
Yes.
Okay. My mother lives on this piece of property here, just south of all around roofing. And they share a driveway right here. She comes to the right side of the hedge road and they go to the left.
Is it, how far back on the lot? Is it pretty far back, or is it?
The house?
Yeah.
My mother's house?
Yeah.
It's up on the hill.
Yeah.
It's in this area right here.
Okay. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Beck.
Thank you.
Again, we're continuing at SU 25-01. Anybody wishing to step forward and speak for or against may do so at this time.
Good evening, Council, Mayor. My name is Brent Beck. I live at 6304 Black Acre Trail, Ackworth, Georgia, and my grandmother is Betty Beck, who lives at 1007 North Tennessee Street, directly adjacent to the property in question. And in fact, they share a driveway, as said earlier. I would like to oppose the special use permit for a few reasons. If passed, it could devalue the properties adjacent to it as a used car lot. And there's also encroachment issues or concerns that we have as far as delivering the vehicles in and blocking the drive directly to the right there. And then also customers coming in to buy cars from them. And lastly, looking at the Tennessee corridor as a whole, is this what the city is kind of looking to do as a corridor from the museum area to downtown Cartersville as people come in to travel from 75 into downtown Cartersville? Thank you.
Thank you. SU 25-01. Anybody else wishing to step forward and speak for or against?
Good evening. My name is Mary Beck Beret. I am the daughter of Betty Beck, who lives beside the property in question. Three little things. I think it will devalue the property around it. Can't think of a time when I've heard of a used car lot increasing a property value, and especially those around it. And you've got to ask yourself, How would I feel if somebody wanted to put a used car lot at the end of my driveway? We do not want that. Yes, my mother is 97. She still lives at home. We don't want the increased traffic and people being aware, oh, there's a house up on the hill. Let's go check that out. Also, there are many of us. We are constantly going in and out of her driveway. And her driveway, because they are attached at the very end, it will be used as part of the entrance. And we worked as good neighbors with Mr. Ray for years, sharing this driveway with them, because we kind of all know each other, like, hey, we're going up here to Mom's. Secondly is, I feel like y'all have done a great job in Cartersville. Downtown, beautiful. Don't forget, Tennessee Street is part of Cartersville. Please do not let us start having car lot, keno shop, all these trashy things on Tennessee Street. They're large. I think there's 9 used car lots already on Tennessee Street. I really don't think we need another one. And if the property's sold, it's probably going to continue to be that. It will not just revert back, I don't feel like. That's my opinion. Anyway, the third thing was, as far as what y'all have done with the city, just right down the street from it, y'all are building a beautiful facility. I think it's a big gymnasium, walking trails. I believe it might be within half a mile of this. So please continue to bring up Cartersville, bring up the value and the quality of life. I just don't think this is a necessary thing. It's not a needed thing. It will not help Cartersville. Thank you.
Thank you. Continuing on with SU 25-01. Anybody else wishing to step forward to speak for or against?
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Pamela Perone. I am the other neighbor on the other side, 1011 North Tennessee Street. It's my business office space. It's not residential. I did not intend to speak tonight. I just wanted to understand the situation. But Tennessee Street is extremely busy the way it is now. And there's accidents that happen right in front of my office on a regular basis. So I understand the concern being a resident on the other side. Mine is an office space, so I'm not there 24/7. But I just wanted to make sure that I did speak, that I am not opposed to it. But I do hear the concerns on the resident side. But Tennessee Street should be evaluated at some point in time, because it is the second roadway, from Joe Frank Harris, and people are traveling it a lot, and they're traveling very fast on it, and it's scary for my customers coming in and out. But again, I am not opposed to it. I just wanted to make sure that I express my opinion since I'm on the other side.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak on SU 25-01 may do so at this time. And seeing none, Mr. Ray, would you like to, I guess you get the last say if you'd like to. Sure.
I do understand the concerns. There is a house behind me, but Tennessee Street's growing. Everything's going commercial. Eventually, everything up through there is going to be commercial. It's going to be there at some point in time. I have no desire to make anything trashy. I have no desire to have a trashy business. I want to enhance Cartersville, just like everyone else does. I understand there are some trashy car lots in town, and I understand the perception of them, but that's not my intent. So I just want to say I have no desire to do anything trashy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
I noticed on your application about the lighting that you're just going to use the lighting that's there. Are you going to be adding any lighting to a lot? Okay. So it's just
whatever's there. We got lighting there. I mean, there's a restaurant across the street that, Lord, it shines up enough. No lighting, no banners, no gorillas out front. you know, so.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. That'll close the public hearing for SU 25-01. And against council, we'll have another public hearing on this on September 4th, and then we'll make final consideration on that one. The Randy Menino Show continues with SU 25-02.
Not me. Yes, thank you again, Mayor and Council. This is a proposed special use permit for a planned residential project. The ordinance was amended back in approximately 2022 to encourage planned residential projects in the downtown development district or the downtown area. With that, the applicant is proposing a two-phase development. The applicant, Mr. Wright's been coordinating with the city for at least a year and a half. And the two projects are the two phases of it. The first one being 11 Leak Street, more commonly known as the Red Barn area. He's proposing a couple of restaurant spaces along with 8 residential units in that. That portion has been to the Historic Preservation Commission. From my understanding, they did recommend approval for that. The second phase of this is at the corner of Irwin and Leak Street. He's proposing 18 townhomes. Again, as part of the special use permit, there are standards in there, architectural rendering subject to HPC approval, breakdown of residential units, and parking plan are some of the requirements within the criteria and standards for the special use. With that, the Planning Commission did hear this, and the Planning Commission did recommend approval of this proposed application.
Okay. Any questions for Randy at this time? Thank you, sir. Is the applicant here? SU? Okay, thank you. Yeah, we'll let you go first. Come on up with your name and your address, please.
Robert Wright, 117 Etowah Drive here in Cartersville. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council, for allowing me to share this project with you. Randy reminded me it's been a year and a half probably of talking with them about this project. We purchased the property from Mr. McWhorter in October last year, so there's a lot of kind of work leading up to that. Obviously, we had a long period of time before then where we were looking at it, trying to figure out what we could do with the property. As you guys know, there's some flood zone issues, the localized flood zone, so there were some challenges in figuring out exactly what to do at the site. If it's helpful, I will just walk through our plans for the two projects. I'll start with the Red Barn. I'm not sure what slide you had. I saw on the package I presented, Red Barn really starts at page 29 in the PDF. Not sure if it's the same for what you have. As she is pulling that up, so as Randy noted, for the Red Barn, in the page we're looking at right here, to the right, the plan for that is 2 restaurant commercial spaces on what I'd call the front of the building, west facing towards South Irwin Street. And then we have 8 loft-style apartments kind of going backwards towards the railroad tracks. There's 4 on each side. The 6 in the middle, so 3 and 3 on each side, are what I'm calling true loft-style apartments. So they have a second floor kind of loft space. Important to know in terms of the sort of building footprint, we're not expanding out of the building footprint to make a second floor, so that would be within the existing structure. We'd actually raise the ceiling height in that building 18 inches to get that true second floor kind of loft space. We have parking for those apartments along Leak Street. The intent would be to hold that property and keep it as a whole, so it would not be condoized. So we would rent the restaurant spaces, commercial spaces. What you have pulling up is great, and then the apartments as well. Again, as this shows, what we see today of the Red Barn, besides its dilapidated condition, would be.
That's not what I see when I look at that Red Barn today. No.
Exactly would be significantly improved. I should note we have historic tax credits for this project, so both state and federal historic tax credits. So we have gone through the process with both the state and federal agencies They're very strict on kind of what you can and can't do. So, for example, like the windows, we're replacing the existing steel windows, or actually leaving those windows in place, replacing the glass in them. The steel doors on the front would be high-quality steel doors. A lot of the materials are intentionally designed to kind of meet the historical character. The one thing that has changed, and I pointed this out to the Historic Commission, am I good? Okay. The stair tower that you see, it's on the north elevation. It's in between the Red Barn and the property just to the north of it. That has actually since been moved inside the building. We still have two means of egress. We still are proposing a rooftop kind of dining area just above the commercial space, not above the residential space. That has actually been moved inside, but largely looks the same. So we are taking off if you look at that bottom kind of rendering, the south-facing facade, that's facing Leek Street. Yep, and what you had, yep. Just one note, we are taking off the dock that wraps around, the porch that wraps around. We're wrapping it around the building, but you can kind of see maybe a third of the way down the building, we stop it. That's intentional. As many of you probably know better than me, that building originally there were 3 bays to it that went to Leek Street. So now there's 2 bays existing. There used to be a 3rd bay, I guess on the far right if you're kind of looking at it. So actually underneath all of that, it goes down probably about 11 feet. That is in serious dilapidated condition. My structural engineer wouldn't even walk under there. So we're proposing take that down and actually use that for stormwater purposes. We'd run the gutters there. So it'd be kind of like a garden planter. So the intent is to really elevate the facade of that. Those entrances you see, those 3 right there, residential entrances into those apartments. And then what you see on the left side there are the entrances into the 2 commercial restaurant spaces. Those restaurant spaces are smaller footprint than maybe what's typical in Cartersville. They're each around 2,000 square feet, but that does not count the rooftop space. And if you can jump to, again, I don't know what page it's going to be, but I'll move on to the townhomes, which it was page 77, but you're looking at the whole packet. So there's a lot of images in there of the existing conditions of the Red Barn. Again, just emphasizing the intent there is to redeem the building, bring it back, honoring the existing character, but a lot of it needs to be significantly rehabilitated. So moving on, you can see the Red Barn there on the right of what we're looking at. As Randy noted, we are proposing 15 fee simple townhomes and then 3 live-work buildings, which are in the building code residential buildings. Those have a ground floor commercial small retail space with a single residential unit above. So what you're seeing there are the 15 fee simple and then the 3, and that is kind of in the northern part right there, opening up onto that courtyard. Again, tried to be very thoughtful in the design of this, bringing through.
I'm sorry, can you just show, where are the 3?
Yeah.
Is it those?
I'll come over here.
Thank you.
So these are the 3 live work. So again,
Okay.
ground floor retail with residential above. We try to be intentional about designing this. I'll stay up here just for 1 second, if that's okay. Lining up the stairs here across from the commercial there to kind of make that. We put these up here to make a transition from obviously the commercial space that is to the north of it with the backs of the Main Street businesses. So to kind of make a transect or transition from that commercial area into the residential. But then these stopping here are the 15 fee simple townhomes that I was mentioning.
Thank you.
And again, those live work units, that courtyard I was pointing out, they would open up onto that courtyard. So imagine a courtyard with string lights and bistro tables and stuff like that out there. But the footprint of those buildings would be pretty small for those commercial spaces. Most of the buildings are 3 stories. There's actually only one, I pointed out, building that's 2 stories. That is this one. If you scroll to the next page, that's the 2nd floor floor plans, and then the following page is the 3rd floor floor plans. If you can jump to the next page, This is an earlier rendering we had, but gives a good idea of the existing conditions. Most of us know that with the proposed development. Again, so you can see kind of how the townhomes interact with the Red Barn structure. There is an existing 16-foot easement between the Red Barn and the townhomes. That's kept. For most of that, we keep it at 20 feet. There's a tiny pinch where it gets down to 16 feet, so keeping that easement. I would just note again that we try to be very thoughtful with the design. A lot of the residential units open up onto sort of shared garden courtyards. We want to bring, really thoughtful, walkable design to downtown Cartersville. We love the location. Would love to see the building redeemed, and we're excited about, kind of the opportunity to fix up the old structure and bring it back to life, and then bring some new life into downtown Cartersville with the existing townhomes. I will stop there. I'm sure there's lots of other design conversations we can get into, and happy to walk through any of those. If there's questions, I have some elevation drawings in there which we could look at if there's questions about the design, but for now I'll stop there.
Any questions?
So I know this isn't really your problem, but it will probably come up. But as we look at Main Street, and I know you mentioned it earlier about the backs of the restaurants that come out to this parking lot. And I know I've been back there before. I believe that's where their food service trucks maybe deliver. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's back there. So how do you look at when you're in relation to your neighbors, and because I know that there's maybe some parking that's going to be taken, but that's rightfully so. I mean, it's not their parking; it's
privately owned. Yep,
correct. But I'm going to keep that little alleyway there. What do you think that looks like moving forward, especially maybe even with your own restaurants that are proposed there?
Yeah, we designed, just jumping off the top, for the restaurants that we would have a sort of separate backup parking spot for delivery trucks facing Leek Street in that parking area. Again, left the existing easement open. The majority of been at the building a lot when trucks are delivering. The majority of them stop right in front of the Knights building, which is on the screen here, directly to the left of me, plan north, directly to the north. The majority of them stop right in front of that in the Gilreath's property. That's again right up there. But again, delivery trucks would be able to pull through South Irwin Street and through our property. That would be a public access. There's nothing that we're shutting off there. Again, I definitely hear the concern. Towns that thicken up, become more walkable, become more desirable, have these challenges. I am a general contractor and do a lot of restaurant renovation work in Atlanta. I was in 4th Ward, Inman Park, doing a project just today. Been down there the past 4 weeks. There's challenges, like I see where the restaurant staff take their trash. I see where delivery trucks come. We've got renovation crews in there and deliveries coming at the same time. So there are certainly challenges to these, but this is what, I think this is kind of the friction and challenge of a growing walkable community, but I think it's worth the trade-offs to create a great downtown.
Yeah.
But definitely understand the challenges.
Yes, I appreciate the work you've done on the parking, because I think in the past we've heard like going to be all public parking, so I appreciate the parking that you've done, and I think, I don't know if that will come up and back up in conversation, but I do appreciate the work you've done on that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Very good. Any other questions? Thank you. We'll continue on with SU 25-02. Anybody else wishing to step forward, speak for or against, may do so at this time. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing for SU 25-02, and we will take this up for another public hearing on September the 4th, and then final consideration on that. Anybody need a break, or are we going to soldier on? Buckle up for the speed round. Let's go. Oh, well, we're not quite there yet. Not so fast, my friends. We have a first reading of an ordinance. We will not vote on it tonight, but there will be discussion amending the sign ordinance relative to weekend directional signs and other prohibited signs. And I know we had a good conversation during the work session on this. And again, Mr. Roth, Councilman Roth, I will turn it over to you to kind of lead this this first reading.
And before Carrie starts on that, based upon the discussion during work session, I've taken the draft and made a few changes to it, just to let y'all know. Instead of weekend directional signs, this will be called weekend signs. The word directional will be taken out of paragraph 15. Paragraph B and C will be deleted in their entirety. And there were a couple other items y'all talked, but I'll make those changes as y'all do this part, if that's something y'all are in favor of.
Okay. Councilman, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, I thank you, Mayor. I appreciate the opportunity to look at this ordinance and maybe make a few changes to it, amend the ordinance to, I think, better fit some things that I've seen in our community as far as the opportunity to let residents and subdivisions have community yard sales and residents have yard sales, and to be able to advertise them with a sign without, my goal in this, as I stated before, my goal in amending this ordinance is to have the average citizen, the average resident, or HOA board member to be able to go out and post a yard sale sign or a community yard sale sign and in a common sense way without knowing where the right of way is, but be able to have that sign put out and be able to have it out there before the sale, during the sale, and then taken up in a timely fashion after the sale. And so I think that the average citizen does not know where the right of way is, but I think most of them don't want their sign destroyed. They do want it back, but they do want it to be viewed and be able to be seen by the public, so to direct them to their yard sale of their sign, their yard sale or the sale that they're having in their subdivision. So I know we've been working on this since October 2024, and I appreciate Mr. Lovell and his work that he's done on this and the others that have put input into it. And so it's, I just want to make some of those amendments to that ordinance, and that's what we have here tonight. And I won't go through, read them all, but I know we'll maybe tweak some, but I do think it's important, one, that we be able to put the sign out, but that it's also for a set time. And it's not, this is not about businesses. This is, the intent of the year is for the resident. If you're a business and you put your sign out and you want to go under this ordinance, you'll probably find yourself, with your sign taken up because in violation. But my goal here in this intent is for the resident. So I know there may be some repercussions from it, but hopefully we can over time tweak those and do some education and have this work out well.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions or discussion from council on this
The only
reading?
thing we had discussed is item F, time allowed. We go specific to a specific day, like may not be posted earlier than Thursday, and then they have to be down by Monday.
Yeah, I heard when y'all spoke about that, one of you said that, and then Carrie mentioned them possibly being on, Monday or Tuesday, depending upon the sale, if it's the sale started Thursday or Friday. So I didn't feel comfortable to go ahead and make a pre-change for that.
Yeah, I think, I do appreciate Councilman Fox's, suggestion there. And I think the one thing that I've noticed that usually people will put their signs up if they're having a Friday, Saturday sale, they'll put them up on Thursday. And if they, I know some of my subdivisions in Ward 3 have put theirs up earlier in the week because they want to advertise that they're having a sale on the weekend. So we could probably find some better ground, some
some meeting ground there, whether it's Wednesday or Thursday. But I do believe that in the spirit of this change, that yes, we would want them down Monday. I think the original ordinance said Sunday night by a certain time, and I'm agreeable with that. Even, if you want to give them till Monday morning, but I'm agreeable to Sunday night, because I don't think that any activity, you know, when we're talking about the weekend, should be going on past that. And then that allows for our administration to be able to have a defined time when those are allowed. So that would be why I would say maybe Wednesday, but by Sunday.
Why don't I suggest y'all chat about that and just send me an email, and I can include that in the next version for council to consider at the next meeting.
Okay.
Good enough.
And I have a question. In lieu of other businesses trying to put up signs that are not doing yard sale signs, are we going to put a provision in there about the number of signs, the maximum number of signs?
Yeah, I appreciated that. I appreciated that comment and appreciated that suggestion, and I'm open to that, because I think even in the original one, you couldn't have so many signs within so many feet. Usually folks don't go, you know, unless it's really hard to get to their home or their place. I know that I think the one that was up a while back had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 signs. I think I saw them because they were back in a subdivision, so they had a sign off of Doffett Ferry going there, off of Old Mill. I think they even had one as far up as the intersection of West Avenue on Etowah Drive to drive that traffic to there. So yeah, I would be open to that, because I think that's a would help limit business signs if they were going to try to run under this. So
would you want me to maybe change the location requirement, instead of 1 sign every 500 feet, to put in there maybe a total of 5 signs?
I'm agreeable to that.
Does that make sense to you? Okay. I'll put that note on here.
With these changes, will staff be able to review this? Because the staff still has concerns about.
Oh, I'll send,
liability.
I'll send a draft to staff for y'all to put in your comments as well.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I think what, you know, I'm not, when I look at, you know, yard sale signs, you know, and when you put them out on the side of the road, or you put them in, I don't know, I mean, I guess there's probably some liability there if somebody hits a yard sale sign on a post. I think, you know, that's possible, but I think there's probably some other things of liability that we could probably focus on too, and maybe
There's
see
unintended consequences with, you know, if this is approved like y'all just discussed, I can go put a sign right off the back of the curb in front of your house.
Mm-hmm.
The day that it's approved, if it's a Thursday. And leave it there until Monday. There's some things we haven't addressed that are gonna be a little difficult for enforce, or to enforce.
Yeah. And I understand that, and I think that I don't think that's, I know the black and white, and I know that we can't put intent, but I think that the spirit that I'm looking for is that we'd be able to help the citizen put out a sign, and you know, and I've asked for, you know, that we can talk about discretion, and we can talk about priority, but that is not in the ordinance, and that has not been the case. So then we're taking this step, but I agree, I understand that. I mean, I don't know where the private property of the right of way starts. So if you put a sign in my front yard and I don't like it, I'm probably going to go take it out. You know, and
rightly so.
You know,
but again,
I mean, we can deal with a lot of hypotheticals. I mean, and I have not seen those come to fruition, but I have seen that we are going to take
because
down.
we've never allowed it by right.
Well, we'll just wait until you go forward on that.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
review it. I mean, the council sets policy, but just be understanding that there is liability putting signs in the right of way. There's been case law, I believe, that Keith's pointing out in other jurisdictions allowing that to happen. But again, council sets policy, we'll review it, and
It is correct. we
That you wanna make that change, we'll move
We'll
forward.
abide by whatever policy ends up being.
Well, I mean, if you want to continue the conversation, I think that, I would just appreciate, the priority of it not being the front priority of the ordinance. I think that if we look at, the police department has some discretion in some things they do. If you look at our city court, there's some discretion there. You know, if we want to get down to the brass bolts, nuts of it, is that I would love some discretion on that, so that, you know, if somebody puts a sign up that, hey, we know this is a yard sale sign, yes, I don't want to put anybody into a contradicting position of, you know, making them contradict their principles and what they stand for and what we're asked them to do as a city in a city administration. But at the same time, I think that as a community, there's an opportunity to show forth some grace and some, you know, leniency there, and not make that the front priority. Now, you know, and that's what I would love. But I'm going to request that council look at this ordinance and change it. You know, and if maybe there's a policy opportunity, maybe there's a policy change. Maybe it's not an ordinance change, but maybe there's a practical policy change that we can make, and I'm very open to that.
Okay, any other questions or discussion? Thank you. Again, we'll have another second reading of this ordinance and maybe make any adjustments to that, and we'll have a vote on that at our meeting on September 4th. Mr. Wilson, please step forward and tell us about the Elmeg Road Resurfacing Grant.
Morning, Mr. Mayor, Council. I have the Public Works is seeking permission for you to sign the GDOT FY 2026 Elmeg Grant cover letter and the applicable related documents. We are going to add these funds that will be available for us, as well as previous ones from the LRA, to and our budgeted amount through SPLOST of $1.55 million to hopefully do around 7.5 miles of resurfacing this year. We ask that we support this signature on this application.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
But before he goes, we should say we appreciate the tour of your new facility today, or your new refurbished facility.
Thank you.
Very good.
Well done. I appreciate that.
Chief Cloninger, you're up. And just so Stephen and Eric, when y'all get up here, or did Stephen?
Yeah, he's
Okay, he's
hiding.
he's hiding. We're gonna handle your added items while you're up here. So,
Okay.
Go ahead, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you know, the police department every year has to submit an annual report for as part of our asset forfeiture equity sharing agreement with the Department of Justice. We, along with the Assistance of Finance, have completed that report. We're asking, and the report is for the fiscal year last from 2024 to 2025. It includes our beginning balance, all deposits, and all spending, and then the final year-end balance, which will be submitted. I have those numbers if you want to hear them, but we're asking for your approval for your signature electronically to submit that report to the Department of Justice.
Okay, thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And then Peregrine Technology subscription.
Yes, sir. We're seeking approval to pay the annual subscription to Peregrine Technologies, which is the data integration company we use. It is a budgeted item, and it comes at a cost of $82,500, and it is funded through the general fund.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Morgan, you're up.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor and Council. Just asking permission to move forward with the replacement of the existing downtown hanging baskets. We're asking to utilize TPD funds for that replacement in the amount of $7,638.
Thank you. Any discussion? If there's none, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by
Thank
saying
you.
aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Greer.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Its first item is a yearly support renewal for the Barracuda email archive that we use to hold all of our sent and received emails, $12,000 from Converge Technology Solutions. This is a budgeted item, and I recommend this for your approval.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item.
This next item is a request for the purchase of some extreme switches for replacing some aging network equipment in our colo in Atlanta and our data center on South Irwin Street. The total amount is $64,480 from Blue Ally Incorporated. It's not a budgeted item and will be paid for the funds from the 2020 SPLOST, and we recommend this for your approval.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And motion carries unanimously. Next item, please.
This item is the annual support renewal for our Mimecast email security solution. This is what we use to protect all of our email services, and total amount is $44,716.06 from SHI, and it is recommended for your approval, and it is budgeted.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And the next item is Nearmap, correct?
Yes, this is a renewal, budgeted support renewal for our Nearmap aerial imagery service. This is the service we use for flyover imagery for our GIS and our mapping. $8,011.37 from Nearmap, and we recommend this for your approval.
Thank you. Any discussion? If there's none, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And then the added item that is on your separate sheet there, council, that
Oh, I didn't say that.
Fiber.
Okay.
fiber infrastructure expansion.
Yeah, this is a construction and installation of a fiber pathway to be built from the intersection of Grassdale Road and US 41 to, we have it as one cutoff road, but it's basically where Matthew's Garage is. And this is a project that we're going to come back for the rest of it in the 26th SPLOST to build all the way to Highway 411 to get into that area where a lot of construction and growth is happening. But we can get this part done right now and we can pick up 2 or 3 customers. So it's along the same route, so we might as well do that now. We're asking for an amount not to exceed $75,000. It's not a budgeted item, but it will be funded from the 2020 SPLOST, and we recommend for your approval.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir. Mr. Pabst, you're up. Mr. McKee, you're on deck.
Good
Good
evening, Mayor and
Mayor.
Council. This item is a 2025 Can-Am Defender utility vehicle. We're requesting approval for this. We received 3 quotes. Stream Propulsion was the lowest bid at $20,549.57. This will replace the old golf cart we have, which will go to surplus, and we're recommending this for approval.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Now that added item for you.
Yes, this will be the Pettit Creek Bridge Replacement Project. We are seeking approval for the contract with Steel and Associates for the replacement of these 2 bridges. It'll be full demo and then a complete rebuild of these bridges. It'll be a reinforced timber base with a composite decking and top rail for that. They will also do some site work around there, in addition to Pine Mountain on the backside, fixing one of our bridges over there and rebuilding a small bridge over there. So this contract cost is $788,214. This project we're requesting to be funded with the general fund and reimbursed through the 2026 SPLOST.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion on this item?
Just how long will this take, you think?
So the estimated time to finish is 84 business days, with them looking at from when the contract would be approved, 2 to 3 weeks before they would probably start due to materials needing to be brought in, and then us looking to have the demo. Once we start demo, having the construction follow right after, so we limit the amount of time the trail is down for our residents.
The other thing is about the Pine Mountain Bridge.
Yes, sir.
If that doesn't get done, I know it'd probably be an Eagle Scout project, but I know we've talked about it before, but
Yeah.
I know you gotta hike a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah. Well, we have some other areas down the road if we need to look at for Eagle Scout projects.
Yeah.
There's always good ideas out there.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Is that good? We've approved everything, right?
I'll make a
We haven't
motion.
voted on it yet? Thank you, I thought that, all right, motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, and a second.
26, use of 26 plus reimbursement.
Using general fund money to
Is that part of your motion, Carrie?
carry.
To use the general fund and have it reimbursed from the 2026
Yes,
BOST?
I'm sorry, I didn't see that in the thing, but yes, I approve, that's in my motion.
Thank you, and your second is good with that?
Yes.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. McKee.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. The first item that we have for you tonight is requesting approval to pay an Itron invoice for 2025-2026 in the amount of $17,483.20.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. That is approved. Continue on.
And the second item is an interconnection agreement for a residential solar project located at 18 Carrington Drive, and we do request approval of this agreement pending final inspection.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Tom. Mr. Lovell, you have the next several.
Yes, Mayor. The first one is a resolution denying an ad litem claim filed by Mr. and Miss Kevin Jacobs. It is recommended by staff for your approval.
Any discussion? Motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
And Mayor, I skipped one.
You did.
There is a standard right-of-way deeded dedication for the Harmony Walk project, which is also recommended by staff for your approval.
A motion is in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. You have the next
The
item.
next one is a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Cartersville concurring in the calling of an election to determine the reimposition or non-reimposition of the 1% sales and use tax for educational purposes, basically generally called the SPLOST for schools. It's a joint tax by the city and county school system. It is recommended by the school system for your approval.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item.
The next one is a resolution basically on the same thing, but also applying for the right to have bonds be issued if said election is a favorable vote.
Okay. And any discussion on that? And if not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Ms. DeSanto, how are you tonight?
I'm well. How are you
You
this
have waited
evening?
so patiently.
I have. Good evening, Mayor and
We've
Council.
so been looking forward to this. Go ahead.
This is for the City of Cartersville Maintenance and Operation millage rate to be set at 2.662 mils for 2025. The property taxes received from the M&O property tax collections are used for general city government services, including police, fire, recreation, and public works. The proposed 2025 millage rate is set for 2.662 mils, which is the rollback rate, and this is recommended for approval.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this? Well, I guess I have to do a public hearing.
Public hearing.
Yes.
So is there a vote on it?
No.
Anybody wishing to talk about it?
Please stand up and state your name.
Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing for that. So we don't have to do a vote or anything on that?
Aren't y'all doing several public hearings, or is this the only one? Depending what y'all do, you.
The
either do
county already
three or
did, the
one.
school system already did.
This is only one, so you do have to vote.
Oh, yeah, if this is y'all's only public hearing, you do have to. vote.
Okay, so well, the chair will entertain a motion on this millage rate being set at 2.662 for 2025.
I make a motion to set the millage rate, the rollback rate of 2.662.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next item, please.
This is for the Cartersville Business Improvement District millage rate to be set at 0.689 mils. The Cartersville Business Improvement District is made up of downtown Cartersville Business District. These business owners have been self-assessing property tax for many years to raise funds for the downtown area. The Downtown Development Authority works with local businesses to use the funds to improve the downtown area. The DDA Board requests City Council approval of the recommended BID's property tax millage of .689 mils for 2025. And again, this is the rollback rate.
Thank you. And Chair will entertain a motion, or I guess, does anybody want to comment on that? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing for that and turn it over to council for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
This last one is for the Cartersville school system rate to be set at 14.5 mils. Just a little bit additional information on this one. The Cartersville City School System recommended to their board to adopt a millage rate of 14.5 mils for 2025. The rollback rate for the City of Cartersville school system was 13.845 mils, and as a result of this rate of 14.5, it is a property tax increase of 4.73% over the rollback rate. This proposed tax increase for a home with a fair market value of $325,000 is approximately $85.15, and for a non-homestead property with a fair market value of $375,000, approximately $98.25. The school system is required to hold 3 public hearings for citizens to voice their opinions regarding the proposed property tax increase. The first public hearing was held July 30th at 10 a.m., with the second the same day, July 30th at 6 p.m., and the third was held on August 7th at 5:30 p.m. The City Council approves the school board's recommended tax millage rate for city residents, where all property taxes collected are used by Cartersville City School Systems. This is also recommended for approval.
Thank you. Public hearing. Anybody care to comment on that? And seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, turn it over to City Council for consideration.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And the motion carries unanimously. Before you give that monthly report, you just hang out right there. We have 2 other items on our add to agenda I want to go ahead and make sure we get to. So Mr. Porter, why don't you handle that?
Historic Preservation Commission reappointments of David Elber, Brad Gillon, and Becca Champion, and if they're reappointed, their terms will run through September 7th, 2028.
Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And that carries unanimously. Thank you to them for their continued service. That board does a lot more training, a lot more. All of our boards give of their time. This HPC one is one that requires a little bit more year-round work and training, so appreciate their efforts there. Now, you've got an agreement to purchase real estate.
Yes, this is for the Dot Fair Road project. We had an early acquisition request from the property owner out there. This is going to be a property we are going to have to purchase in the future. GDOT has approved that. It's recommended for your approval to purchase this parcel for $325,500, which we paid for from the 2020 SPLOST funds.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you for that. And now the finance report.
The finance report. So in your packets, I'm going to go over just the summary notes. Again, this is for June of 2025. This will change from the final financial report that you will receive most likely in January, which will cover the final end of year numbers because we do operate mostly on a cash basis throughout the year. But just to kind of talk a little bit about cash and net profit, majority of our funds are well cash positioned at anywhere from 33 to 109% cash to budget ratio. Water and sewer cash, we just actually received our draws this week of $31 million from our U.S. bank funds. And for our electric funds, we do hold primarily a majority of our funds with MEAG Generation Trust. This table that we've provided shows our strong cash position as of June 30th, 2025. And again, from both positions, cash and net profit, city operating and enterprise funds are doing quite well. The general fund has a strong cash position covering over 100% of its budget with a current net profit of $6.1 million. While our local option sales tax and building permits are holding steady, other revenue collections have increased over a year, such as franchise fees, which are up 15% on the year. Gas, electric, and water and sewer sales remain strong. Water and sewer unrestricted cash balance, again, was temporarily lower than normal, awaiting those drawdowns that we received this week. Revenues from our industrial heat space for gas and our large year-end settlement in electric are driving most of the increases in net profit this year. And then again, additional details can be found in your packet for the other funds.
Okay. Any questions, Ernie, got anything to add on that, Dan?
So just, Mayor, it's the end of the fiscal year numbers, as Diane's pointed out, a very good fiscal year. And just as a reminder on the water and sewer, because of the two capital projects, the water phase one of the water treatment plant expansion was about $74 million, I think it was budgeted at. That's been spending some of the number of reserves in the water fund, which we anticipated, plus the wastewater treatment plant expansion is ongoing. We did meet with the bond agent, our financial advisor gave aid this morning. We'll be looking at the bond issue probably for January next year. But those projects are well needed for our new development and growth. But overall, financials look very good for that this year.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? Thank you. Any other business that needs to come before council tonight? Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Stay gold.